Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another video. So a couple of you were actually asking me if I can make a video on this specific topic, and I wasn't going to at first because I thought it was too personal, and I also didn't want to say anything that could have offended anyone or made someone feel a specific way. But now that I gave this plenty of thought, I decided to make it. So the topic that I am going to be talking about is depression. Now, I think it is very important for us to understand that millions and millions and millions of people are affected and suffering from depression. It's also very important to remember that we are all human, which means that we're all going to feel pain. It's just how we go about dealing with it. Some of us tend to run away, while some of us tend to deal with it head on. Sometimes I feel like we're all living in a facade because we just want to show other people that we're happy. We kind of just want to push away the pain and kind of just show people that we're happy and living our best lives. But sometimes our best lives can bring some of the most hurtful feelings in the world. And sometimes they can really make you or they can break you. I feel like if we lived in a world that was more understanding of everyone's emotions, and if we truly did care for one another, the world would obviously be a better place. So I'm going to be talking about my experience with depression and how I was able to thankfully overcome the darkest point in my life. So I want to say that my depression pretty much started when I was younger, in middle school, when I started to discover that I was different and I was a gay boy. So because of that, there was a lot of emotions and there was a lot of confusion at the time because I'm young, don't know what the hell's going on. I'm feeling all of these feelings and none of it just felt right to me. I had a biological father who was mentally, physically, and verbally abusive. I was constantly going back and forth because my parents did split custody of me. I didn't have a lot of friends because I was just quiet. I didn't really know how to talk to people. So I think all of that just started to bottle up inside and kind of put me into a really bad spot in life when I was younger. I think one of the hardest challenges that I've dealt with in my life so far is accepting the fact that I was gay at such a young age. And on top of that, learning that my biological father is actually very homophobic wasn't really the most comforting thing to figure out. So thankfully, after I got the hell out of his house, I was able to move in with my mom. So fast forward a couple years to when I was in high school and I was dating, and then I was happy for a little bit, and then when I started dating, that's when my depression started to come back. And that was around the time where I started physically looking at myself and started picking every little thing that was wrong with my body. So I had the depression, and then I also had the body dysmorphia, and then that was when I entered my first gay relationship, which turned out to be physically and mentally abusive. Fast forward a couple years later to me moving here, I was excited but also very depressed. Yes, I was by myself at the time. I didn't have anybody. And even today, it's really hard to make friends in this city because I feel like friendships here are very one-sided. They're either fake or no one's truly who they really say they are. So that is definitely something that is a struggle to deal with when you live here or pretty much anywhere. So there were a couple things that I was able to do and that I am still doing to help myself kind of overcome my depression. And the weird thing is that people will always tell you in life that your childhood is going to come back into your adult years and haunt you. And for me, I truly didn't believe that. I always thought that was BS. I never really wanted to listen to that. I didn't really understand that, but it wasn't until I started to get older, that's when I started to put things into perspective. And then that's when all the self-doubts, and then it just started to tumble down into this huge ball. So during my experiences, I was able to actually do some things that helped me feel better about myself and helped alleviate depression and not really focus on it that much. And I will gladly tell you guys what they were because I don't want anybody to feel down because depression freaking sucks. And if you're depressed and if you're going through something, this is so cliche, I'm so sorry, but just please try to find the light at the end of the tunnel. I know that this pain feels like it's gonna last forever, but I promise you that pain is not gonna last forever. It's only temporary. So please don't do anything that is going to put you in harm's way. Please, 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 please don't harm yourself because that's not going to solve anything. And I'm only saying something as drastic because there was a point in time where I did attempt to commit suicide, but I never thankfully followed through. So yeah, I'm gonna give you guys some tips on how these things can help your depression. So the first thing I did is I started to put more focus on myself. I started to ask myself what was wrong when I was upset. I really dug deep into figuring out why certain things were making me feel so upset. You know, why are these causing certain reactions out of me? Why am I giving this reaction when someone is acting like this or talking about this? That was one thing that I really need to face head on for myself. So I definitely did that. Another thing that I did was focus on myself more. And by doing that, I mean I started working out more, I started eating right, I started hanging out with people that made me feel good because I wanted to be in a lighter, more positive space. So I feel like if you don't have the friendships that are here for you when you're depressed, you need new friends, because friends are really going to be the ones who are going to help you understand your worth and help you realize that you're a damn queen. And if you don't realize it and your crown's falling, it's okay, girl. We're going to pick your head up, you're going to fix your crown, let her sit, and we're going to rule the kingdom, what we call the world, because that's what you were born to do. Which leads me on to talking to friendships about your depression. Because if you have true friends, your friends will be there for you no matter what. Thankfully, even though I've had a lot of people stab me in the back over the years, I've had one friend who has literally been here for me since 7th grade. I still talk to her to this day. I am forever thankful for her. Another thing I did that was super helpful is to feel the feelings in the moment. Like I said earlier, a lot of us tend to kind of run away when pain comes along, and a lot of us tend to deal with it head on. So for me, I'm the type of person that likes to deal with it head on. If I am feeling upset at the time because of whatever, I'm going to give myself a moment and feel, because what is going to help if I just block it and ignore it? Because it's going to end up building up eventually and it's not going to end well. So feeling feelings first is definitely something that helps me the most. And then thankfully I was actually able to get a therapist, and the therapist was literally the biggest help, because the one thing I like about therapists is that they are strangers looking at your life. So it's very refreshing to have another person kind of tell you what's going on, what doesn't seem right, what doesn't sound right, you know, how you can change. And I've always been that type of person who was really discouraged by therapists. I didn't really like therapists at all. I was definitely the type of person that was just like, you know what, I'm not going to talk to a therapist because the people who do have to deal with that, they're weak. You know, I always thought that if I ever had a therapist, I was weak, because if I wasn't able to deal with my own problems, why would I think that someone else is going to help me with my problems? But as I grew older and actually realized how much having a therapist helps, that is a really big stepping stone. Honestly, the thing that I started to do is to think more positively about things. I am the type of person that doesn't really think negative. I don't think positive, but I think in the middle. And sometimes when you think in the middle, you are almost limiting to yourself what could be the bigger picture. So I started to think more positive about things. I didn't really tend to be more negative. Even when I did start to feel myself going down that path of being negative, it's like, you know what? If I can't control the situation, I'm not going to put any more energy into it, because the situation is going to play out how it's meant to play out. And I think that's one thing that we all have to remember, because I am that type of person that freaks out if I'm not in control. Another thing that I think added to my depression with me being here in the city is I feel like a lot of people don't really see me for me, because I am kind of that shy person still that is a little bit quiet when I'm meeting somebody new, or if I'm in a new space, I kind of observe until I feel comfortable enough to feel safe being myself. Sometimes people kind of look at that as being rude. So because of people thinking that I'm rude when I'm really just shy and quiet, that kind of tells people that I'm not really open for a friendship, which I actually am always open for friendships because I love having friends. I've never really had a lot of friends growing up. I've always wanted to be that person who was popular in a sense, who had a lot of friends, because I was just a very lonely person growing up. So always having friends was something I look forward to. And when I moved here, I was excited because I thought that I was going to have a bunch of friends, and unfortunately, sometimes life just doesn't turn out the way we want it to. You know, sometimes I even self-doubt myself that I'm not gay enough to have a lot of friends, because I feel like, you know, I'm in a city that totally accepts diversity. And sometimes I feel like I'm not accepted because I am not gay enough. So that kind of leads me down my own little spiral of negative thoughts, which is also the reason why thinking positive is very important, because people are going to like you for you and not everyone is going to like you. So once you find that group that makes you feel comfortable and makes you feel welcomed and accepted, stick with that group. And then lastly, I know that this pain is not something that is easy. I know it's hard. Trust me, I've been there before. I remember those nights just crying myself to sleep, wishing that I never woke up. You know, I remember times coming home from school where it's just like I would take the sleeves of my sweaters and just wrap them around my neck and just slowly start to squeeze. And then I also remember nights where I would kind of wake up and go to the kitchen and find the sharpest knife and just gently poke it against my neck and, you know, really ask myself if this is something that I wanted to continue. And it was then where I actually took a very big step back and realized that I didn't want to feel like this anymore. Depression is okay. It doesn't matter what society says. You're a human. We all have feelings. Whether you feel feelings more or you feel feelings less, it doesn't matter. So please don't ever let society or somebody else tell you that you're different because your depression is severe or not as severe. Depression is depression and pain is pain. We're all going through it, and your pain is just as important as somebody else's pain. I've said this a million of times, but this is why I made my YouTube channel, because I wanted to help the people who were hurting. I've always wanted to help people who are hurting because it makes me feel good. It makes me feel good being able to help someone who doesn't think that they can go on another day. I've always wanted to be that person that helps somebody else realize their worth. You're a damn king. You're a damn queen. And you know what? If you don't believe it right now, give me 5 minutes, sis, because I will make you believe it at the end, okay? Another thing I started doing was self-esteem exercises. So what I did is I wrote down on a piece of paper things that were encouraging to me that I could read every time I looked in the mirror. So for example, some things that I wrote down is that I am beautiful. Because I struggle sometimes with my body image and I don't feel comfortable, I think it's really important to let yourself know that you are beautiful no matter what. No matter what society paints the perfect body to be, you are beautiful. So telling yourself you are beautiful is definitely one step into creating a more stronger self-esteem for yourself. Another thing to do, super important, is to listen to music, please. Music is a very, very good gateway to expressing your emotions when it comes to feeling feelings. It's okay to listen to sad music. It's okay to listen to happy music. It's okay to listen to angry music. As long as you're feeling feelings and you are feeling good in your heart and you're satisfied, then that's okay. As long as you do not hurt yourself. I truly do wish that I can snap my little finger and just make all of this pain go away, because when you think about it, there's a lot of pain that's going on in the world. Just like Mr. Rogers says, if you guys ever feel like you're alone, always look for the helpers, because the helpers are going to be the ones who will be there for you and comfort you. But anyways, I hope this video was somewhat helpful. I really hope that I covered almost everything. Kind of anxious because I hope this video turned out good. If you guys did enjoy it, please give it a big thumbs up. Comment down below if you guys have ever had depression. What things did you do that kind of helped you? Are you still dealing with depression? Subscribe if you are new to my channel, and I will see you guys next time. Please remember that you're special. Please remember that you are important. Please remember that you do belong on this earth, whether somebody else says so or not. You were brought in this world to make a difference. So please go make that difference, whatever it may be, and shine like the brightest star that you can. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.